All right, so here we're going to talk about how to draw in isometric drawing. And the one thing that we need to remember with an isometric drawing is that it's not so perspective. So what I mean by perspective is exactly when we talk about it might be exactly how we see it as if we see in this drawing. Isometric is not meant to be perspective. It's meant to be more descriptive on how are things supposed to look, or how are they supposed to be made. And so it's the emphasis of this is mostly on engineers and communicating that. So drawing is a form of communication. The one thing with isometric is we want to see three views. We want to see our top view, so we have these top faces kind of in this section here. We want to see our front views, which is kind of these left sides of faces. And we want to see our right views, which is these front sides of the faces here. Okay, so what our isometric drawing is going to look like is we are going to have all three of these faces descriptively in there so that we can see three different views. Now later we're going to draw a multi-view, and what a multi-view drawing does is it lets us see every side of the shape as if we're actually moving it within our own hands. So when we start with an isometric drawing, we want to look at what's called our scale. And so in this instance, our scale is going to be, I'm going to do like two of these triangles. So two triangles is going to be that per one of these blocks. What I mean by a block is just one of these square blocks here. Okay, so every time I draw one of these square blocks, it's going to be two of these triangles. So we want to think about our scale. Sometimes we have to scale things down, sometimes we have to scale things up. So when I'm looking at this, we're looking at our sides. So what I want to do is I always want to kind of start with like the lower front face. It just makes it easy on me. So I'm going to start right about here. Okay, that's going to be like my bottom corner here. So I'm going to draw up one because I only have one block. So I'm going to go one triangle, two triangles. Now I'm going to go over another two, one, two, and we see here that I have two total, so I'm going to go another two, and then I'm going to bring that on down since we're just one block. So what we see here is we have up one, we have over two, down one, and then we're going to finish off the bottom of that face, and we're going to go one and two. Now we want to draw this other face that's connected to this line here. This line right here, we want to draw, we're going to go ahead and draw this side here. So again, we have one, two blocks, and since my scale is two triangles per block, we're going to go one, two, that's one block, one, two, that's two blocks. We come down only one block's worth, so we're going to go one, two triangles, and then one, two blocks here, so we're going to go one, two triangles, that's one block, and then one, two triangles is two blocks. So if I were to draw just a line down, we can see that we have one block here, our second block here, we have one block here, and our second block here. So if we're going to finish off this side here, we know that it's one block this way, so we're going to go one, two, and then we see that there are two blocks this way, and we're going to go one, two, and one, two. So if I drew my lines again, I would have block one and block two. Now in this one we see that there's a part that's coming upwards, so we want to make sure that this upward block is coming off of our bottom block down here. So anytime we do that, we want to always look at where our corners are going to connect. So we see that it's up two blocks, So I'm going to go 1, 2, and then I'm going to go another one, 1, 2. Let's go ahead and erase this, get that out of our way. And then we have right here, we're going to start with this part here, 1, 2 blocks. So I'm going to go 1, 2, 1, 2. Over here I have 2 blocks again. We're going to start on this corner here. So I'm going to go 1, 2, 1, 2. And now we're going to connect all of our corners with this little square here. So we go 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, and then bring it down 1, 2. So if I draw my lines, we would be able to see that we have one block here, we have our other block here, and then we have another block here. Okay, so obviously this is the same face and this is the same face here. Now, that's how you do our isometric drawing. Let's talk about how we do our coloring. Now we want to do 3 different colors. One wants to be our top faces, one wants to be our front faces, and one is our right face. So what I mean by the top faces is the faces of these blocks. So right here is facing the top side, so that would be our top face. But then over here we also have a top face and a top face because these are facing the top. So they're facing, if we were to look at them straight down, we would only see these blocks. So we would color those as one color. So maybe I'm going to do mine red here. So I would color mine in red. I would color my other tops here red. And that would be everything for my top faces. Then we would go ahead and move on to our front faces. These are our front faces. They are facing, we're tempted to call them left, but they're not. They're fronts. They are facing the front. In drawing, they would always call that our front side and not our left side, because our left side is technically on this side. We can't see it in this view, but that's technically what our left side would be. These are actually our fronts. So we'll color our fronts a different color. Okay, get that in a little bit more. And then we want to color all of our rights. So these are all our right facing sides here. Again, I'm going to go ahead and go in, and I'm going to choose a different color. And I will color all my rights. So now we see that we have 3 different views. We have a top, we have a front, and we have a right side. So that's how we do our isometric drawing.